It's all about what brings them back again. We want to become that place they come back to because they know there's their resource of information. And a consistent social media presence creates a social identity. We are identified by how they see us, perceive us, experience us. So we in fact want to create relationships then using that identity to attract followers. That's what Twitter's all about. That's what Facebook's all about. Every one of those are about creating the followership that is based upon that identity. So they become our community and lead us to our niche market. We can think we want to take our product and expertise to the world. What we're really doing is taking it to that part of the world that wants us. And that's our niche.
And this is my recommendation for each one of us in here when we create a new product or service or a new business, is to set up our Google accounts. How many in here have a Google account? How many have set it up all the way? But it is the very first foundation for creating your messaging and start to add your brand or your social identities, your brand identity at Google. This is my site that I set up. These are all the tools that I use whenever I'm marketing. But once they're set up, I don't have to go back and set them up again.
So we'll explore the 4 primary social media sites a lot more deeply today. We'll also explore how we create social identity across those 4 primary sites. And then we'll look at your website's purpose in terms of identity, and then how the functions of all of those work for distribution strategy concerning how you started putting it together last week, and then the resources to create imagery to support that identity.
Google Blogger. How many use Google Blogger? One of the things I want to share with you, a couple of things that I've learned over the last 18 months with Google Blogger. Google Blogger is an indexing tool for Google. They say, great, you're using my blog. Guess what? I've got to get you recognized very quickly because you're using me to go to the website. So Google wants to index your domain very quickly. One of the tips that I will give you in a Google Blogger, for those of you that have been in some of my YouTube classes, always include http:// and your domain. That blogger is really not seen anywhere. I can't find mine, but I know whenever I create a blog that my domains, new domains that I'll sign up today are all showing up in the next couple of days because I set that blogger up. If I don't, my domain it may take 2 or 3 months for it to get indexed.
We will look at one core issue, and that is that all social media marketing serves one purpose, and that's to drive traffic to your website, where people really find out what they need to know, the products that they want to purchase and use. Every one of our activities is for the sole purpose of driving traffic. Therefore, identity and distribution are really appropriate right now for the things we've been covering so far. And we will look at how we manage our social identity through each and every one of those sites. And managing our identity is critical. That's how our messaging starts playing into that picture as well.
Before we go any farther, and I want to address this, I touched base on a lot of things just now with Google and with some of the automation tools. The class today is our social identity and branding. Touching base on all of these are places where we will set up our message about our company, not about execution today. It's where will we post our text profiles, our graphics pictures, etc., etc. Google, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, that's where our social identity will be placed. The automation tools, I just touched on it because that's how we're driving our message, which we will speak more about next week. The purpose of me sharing this information is the starting point where we're adding our text and our graphics, and then we're going to create, later on in this class, we're actually going to create a worksheet that's going to create the foundation that we're going to enter in each one of these sites. Google AdSense. Sign up for it in your Google account. It takes several days for Google to give you this account. Google sees AdSense as a privilege. Big Brother says we may or may not give you this account. The reason behind Google AdSense is, first of all, it's advertising. It takes your message, if you're using AdWords, and they submit other companies' information on your site. If someone on your site clicks that link, you get paid for it. That's Google AdSense. So it's a marketing. How many have seen the little Google ads on various sites over to the right? You've seen them down at the bottom of your website. It says powered by Google or something like that. That's AdSense. But that's considered to be an ad word for me that would be advertising. But if I wanted to put those ads on my site to get paid, I would have to sign up for AdSense. Google AdSense. That sounds confusing to me. Was it confusing to you? Yeah. All right, let me try this one more time. Google AdWords would be us marketing our product or service. Google AdSense is an ability for us to generate revenue by marketing other people's products or services. Did that help? That sounded a little more clear.
So it's kind of like affiliate marketing through Google.
So the bottom line, I'm sorry?
It's like affiliate marketing through Google.
It's kind of like an affiliate marketing, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that make a lot of money on Google AdSense, for sure. I mean, you can spend $10,000 and make 30, and you may want to do that on your own products down the road because other people, I don't want to go into that. That takes me way down a rabbit hole. However, the point is, set it up. Do I have it? Set it up, and then it will be there when you need it. If you decide you want to use it and you haven't set it up, it's frustrating. At least it was for me. And we're going to go into that. Bitly becomes an automation and tracking tool. How many are familiar with shorteners, URL shorteners? Does anyone use Bitly? Okay. I like Bitly. One of the reasons that I like Bitly is when I send out my Twitter account information or my ebooks or my products or my message, let's just say that. When I send a message out, I use that shortener for Bitly, and if I send it out to 30,000 tweets or followers, I can see immediately how many people actually click through on it. Yeah. Do you guys use it for that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
Most of them do
that. There's more, most of them do.
I got like URLs.
Yeah, there's tiny URL, there's a lot more features that I found with Bitly. Bitly doesn't last as long as some of the others for some reason, but I don't use it for long term, I use it for short. How do you use it?
Every morning I'll wake up, well, I wake up every morning, that's a good thing. So let's start there. That's cute. Oh man, is it Friday? And I will find something on, I'll go to Stuff to Tweet, and I'll look at what's popular and Mashable and popular in all the major social sites, and I'll find an article that I enjoy. I'll copy and paste that URL into Bitly, I'll shorten it, and I'll just add it, and I'll put pound Facebook after it, so it goes to my Twitter account, and it also goes to Facebook, and it's something that's of value to me, and then people that follow me or readers of mine can see that I'm posting something that might be interesting to them, which in turn leads more followers to follow you.
Okay.
So that's how I use it.
Yes. Yes.
It's also right there, so you can go all the way back.
Okay. Here's why I'm using, and I don't want to go into a lot of details, but I'm going to give you tools because the tools that we use in this class that we're really referring to and why it's important. Bitly for me has an API which allows me to add the Google Reader and Google Alert so that I can now send out those messages to my social sites. When you become more advanced, I would advise you then you can add on anything that you want to as a substitute. But I really want to make it very easy for you sending your messages out. Don't want to get really detailed and complicated. We'll learn the baseline for sending out our goal is marketing. Would you not agree?
Right.
Getting the message out. So that's what we're doing is talking about our social identity and setting things up so that it makes it very easy for you to communicate. And these are the tools that we will use and talk about in more detail next week. We will help you set these up. Here's our end goal. This is what we're trying to get to. Probably can't see this very well. This is what I consider this is the TweetDeck. If up here I have my Twitter accounts, I have, let's just see. I think that's Facebook, there's LinkedIn. This is a new account that I just set up. This is my, it's another Twitter account. Twitter account, Twitter account, Twitter account. These are messages that I'm sending out, but also they're direct messages that come back to me so that I can follow every single thing that's out there on the web that's talking about me through my social sites. Similar to the RSS feed that Brent was referring to by putting his name. If they're talking about him, he can find it in his Google Gmail. This is where, how do we keep up? I've heard this a number of times. How do we find people that are sending messages to me if I have so many social media accounts set up? This is what I use. I don't use a lot of social media sites. That's too many for me to keep up with. If I use a few very well, sending out the proper message, it will still do the same things that I need to do. I use this to build brand awareness and create followers. There's other things that we will talk about through marketing using video, AdWords, a number of other things that you guys will be it will help you drive more traffic to your Twitter accounts and to your website and to your products. Does that make sense? Remember the picture last week we talked about the social media sites and then this huge cloud of all the social media sites that are out there. It's too many for us all to keep up with. How many products do you want to sell? If you can get your brand identity, your social identity in front of 100 million people, do you think you'll start building that Snickers brand? That's what we want to do first, is building that foundation. Creating the right message. Big 4 plus 1. This is Rod's favorite. I think that makes it easier for him to say than having to go through the big 4. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. But once you understand how to set those sites up, it's very simple to start setting up other social sites. The reason for that is that the systems are pretty much the same. You start looking for all of the same information on all the social sites. Facebook is your social relationships. LinkedIn is your business relationships. Twitter, small communities, microblogging. Set up as many of those as you possibly can. YouTube, don't worry about having video. Start setting it up and finding people that you like to follow so you can start building subscribers. Even like yours, you can create people, families that have children that want to communicate back and forth before you even get your own videos up. Same.
But the first thing is, for your website, what is your business message? And remember, we made that evolution before where we talked about personal message and then the business and then the product. So what is your business message that should be on your website? Then what is your product or service message? So from a perspective of Rod Kempton and my website, basically I'm describing myself, my background, then the business of Powerful Directions, and then the product of coaching. That's the differentiation of each of those segments. But I have to have messaging that gives each one of those. The messaging will also include keywords that people would use to search for. And so that's what we're going to be doing a little bit more right now in this exercise, as well as the social sites. Some social sites give you more room for messaging. So we'll write a long profile and a short profile. Your Twitter or YouTube profiles are going to be shorter than the others. And then the short thank you for when they click through to you and they get to give an auto response from you. What will the thank you say? So you can write it now and it'll go back to you. Then on the other side of that handout, the keywords, what keywords most apply to what you're saying so that they both are in the message and they are the words people will use to search for you. Now here's a critical bit about the message, and that is I can use something in my phrasing, but other people might use a different word to search for the same topic. If that's the case, and I discover through research in Google Analytics and others that another word is more powerfully received, then I can substitute theirs for mine. Same intent, same basic message, using the proper keywords. That's critical for the identity as well. And then the social identity inventory, you will look for, complete, have every one of these and bring them back to you, bring them back with you to session number 3. So that's an inventory on the second, that last part of the second page. Let's spend some time now actually writing.
Let me
What?
make one comment. The purpose to this exercise right now is it's going to help you answer some of the questions as we set the sites up. I do this for me so that when I have this piece of paper in front of me, I can use the same profile in one site as I use in the next site as I use in the next site. I want to copy and paste and put it into my social sites quickly. So as we go through the exercises live, then you can pull from this information and start typing in and creating your profiles.
And here's the benefit of that. How many of you feel differently on different days? How many of you think differently on different days? And therefore, how many of you would write differently on different days? That being the case, it will have an impact on your identity, right? So if you write it well once,
$10.
say that quickly. If you write it well once and use it a number of times,
I mean, how much
it's
is it?
written
$10?
well each time. I work with people who, on resume preparation, we write the resume, and then we revise the resume, and then we revise it again. We play with the words. We make sure that action verbs begin the sentence and all of those other kinds of cues. But by the time we've spent several hours on it, it's a very powerful document. Guess what? That same information can be used in some of the messaging as well. So find a way to use your documentation you've been creating in your messaging.
Your website is your center. It's really the universe to everything else. And you can break down your website into a single product or service. But your messaging starts there. So as you start breaking your website apart and focusing on single products or services. And let me give you an example of why this is really important for your message. One website can have 3 or 4 different products or services. I've seen websites that have hundreds. What is our real objective to that website? Is it to share information, not generate revenue? Is it your website there to generate revenue? What is the message that you're sending to the community, to your buyer? When you set all of this information up for your social identity, what are you setting your website up for? So it's it needs to be very, very clear of how you're going to use your own website. And then if you have a broad website, You certainly, yes. Hey there. This is a Twitter account. This is Denise's Twitter account. Pretty background, would you agree?
Oh, you guys love the cowboy?
We designed the backgrounds. So all of the designs, this is an example of all of our Twitter accounts we want to create. This is your message. Would you not agree? On your Twitter account? Your Facebook needs to have something very similar to this. I'm not sure if Denise's...
Facebook should be on there.
That's her YouTube.
That's the web. Yeah, that's the YouTube.
If you see YouTube, the consistency with her message is the same. I can promise you that I've been working with Denise, and she is working on making sure her message matches her graphics. Because what we want to happen from our backgrounds
That's the site.
is the consistency, the colors, and these words in the text. She's still working on her text. So if you look at her site, I go to Twitter, her profile information, or bio or information is very short on Twitter. Her YouTube, I don't have the copy of it, but there's more information when you go onto YouTube that gives you a profile and detail. How many words are on YouTube?
You get the same. You get characters.
It's a large profile that you can put on YouTube.
You can get it unlimited, but not that's going to show up.
I choose, in most cases, depending on what my message is on my YouTube account, I probably have 40 YouTube accounts. My YouTube accounts are very specific, very product driven. So I may only have 2 videos or 3 videos for that product with loaded keywords on those YouTube accounts. I just want people to find me.
Exactly.
And then they will subscribe to those channels. You can also be aggressive by going out and finding other people that you like. It's similar to Facebook. Brent, you've got a great product that you can put on YouTube, and it's very, very specific. Create 2 YouTube channels. One testing over here to see what the response is. One's very specific. I choose, in most cases, depending on what my message is on my YouTube account, I probably have 40 YouTube accounts. My YouTube accounts are very specific, very product driven. So I may only have 2 videos or 3 videos for that product with loaded keywords on those YouTube accounts. I just want people to find me.
Exactly.
And then they will subscribe to those channels. You can also be aggressive by going out and finding other people that you like. It's similar to Facebook. Brent, you've got a great product that you can put on YouTube, and it's very, very specific. Create 2 YouTube channels. One testing over here to see what the response is. One's very specific. Yes? It's exciting. And when I say 10,000, 10,000 should be what our goals should be. I will show you how to get there, but think of it, that may sound like a lot of money, but it's not. It's take your products, divide it by the number of people that you need to see, and get in front of that many people, and you will.
In marketing world, 10,000 is nothing when you're marketing out there.
But if we can show you how to do this in your sleep, someone I met yesterday or 2 days ago, they go, yeah, I thought that I wanted to make money while I sleep. This is what the internet can do for us today. But before we do that, our message has to tell them something while we're sleeping.
Right.
If it doesn't communicate that while we're sleeping, you're not going to get that order or that sign up. It's just how do we leverage the media to do that? This is the power of creating this brand and consistency. It's unbelievable. So, 10 is our first, right? All of us want to make at least $10,000. I'm telling you, somebody in here in the first 30 days after our class will do that, if not come very close. We just have to find our niches. Sounds like you're already there. You haven't made it through the class yet.
Well, I was in negotiations before this morning.